everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I will be creating for you my go-to fall look, basically my go-to fall makeup, and I will be creating an eyeshadow look with the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. So if you are interested in any of this, please keep watching. My skin type is very dry, I'd say, and it's sensitive. I get a lot of breakouts and flare-ups and whatever. So I find that when the seasons change, my makeup changes quite a bit, and that's just because my skin gets a lot drier, so it's important to mix it up. Basically, my go-to primer in the summer tends to be this Milk Hydro Primer. I find it looks really nice on my skin in the summer. However, when fall comes around, forget about it. It just does not look good on my skin. And the same thing goes to the IT Cosmetics CC cream. This is a beautiful CC cream slash full coverage foundation. I love this in the summertime because it feels very light on my face, and it's pretty water resistant too, so it's great for, you know, going to the beach, pool, and whatever. But it's one of those foundations that, again, I cannot wear it in the fall time. It just looks really dry on my face, and it just does not have the same effect. So I find that in the fall slash winter season, I do need to change up my foundation quite a bit. Usually my everyday foundation will change, and I'll go to either a medium or full coverage foundation depending on the day. Sometimes I'll wear a BB cream or tinted moisturizer, but that's not too often in the fall time. My new favorite medium coverage foundation is this LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation, and this is clean, which I really like. So we're definitely going to be using that today. And I just find like this is just such a good foundation. And this one is really good all year round too, like summer, winter. My skin just loves it in general. For serums, I have to go for a more hydrating serum, which I do usually use quite a bit in the summertime too, but I have to stay away from more of the gripping serums, and instead I will either use this one by Rodial, the Soft Focus Glow Drops, or I really love Farsali Unicorn Essence, although I was really sad to find out that they have left Sephora. There are a few items left still really discounted, and then after that, that's it. You have to order through their website, which just is kind of a bummer. We are going to start with primer. I think today I'm going to use the Rodial one. Just because if I had to recommend one of these primers to you, this is the one I'd recommend because it is easier to buy. This one you can buy at Shoppers. It's not a very cheap primer at all. It's still pretty pricey. A little bit cheaper than the Farsali one. It is just quite nice. Again, it's like a light pink texture, and you just rub it all over your face. This one does have a smell to it. I don't personally mind it all that much, but if you're very sensitive to smells or perfumes, this might not be the primer for you. I just zoomed you in a bit here. Next up, we're going to take the LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation, and we're going to apply it to our face. The nice thing about this foundation is, I mean, I think it claims that it's medium to full coverage foundation. It's not, but I would say this applies. The first layer is a very light coverage, but you can apply a second layer and really build it up to a medium coverage foundation. It's nice for an everyday makeup look, and it really does make your skin look very skin-like. I'm gonna take some of that onto my sponge, and I'm gonna start putting that all over my face. I use this foundation in a wear test. Make sure I link it down below. And where I tried out their primer, their foundation, and their setting powder. And when I first applied this, I used their primer, and I thought I hated this foundation because it pilled all over my face. And then when I tried it with a different primer, I realized that it was actually their primer. I'm gonna go in with a second layer. Actually, I'm gonna try a foundation brush. I don't usually use a lot of brushes. However, I do like this Kat Von D brush. I wanna see how much I can really build this coverage up if I use a brush. I just like a beauty blender better. I don't know why, I just think it looks smoother. I do have some blemishes that still show through, but I think I'm gonna use concealer for that. This one here has probably become my new favorite concealer. This one is the Bareminerals concealer. And so I'm gonna apply some, oh, that's a lot. I want to spot conceal a couple of places. I really like this It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. And I have used this under my eyes actually, and I think it does a fine job. However, I really like this for a spot concealer. And that's because the consistency of this, if you can see here, when I push it out, it's not fully liquid. But I don't think it's fully cream either. I'd say it's a nice mixture between a cream and a liquid concealer. Let's just go in. I'm just gonna dab this on areas I want to conceal. And with this, a little bit goes a very long way. I'm just gonna blend it in with my finger, just because I find when I use a beauty blender, it tends to rub off quite a bit. I'm gonna show you another trick as well for covering any blemishes. This here is the Bareminerals Barepro Performance Wear Powder Foundation. I think if you get blemishes, the best thing you could do is get a powder foundation. So you put on your concealer, and then you take a little bit of the powder foundation on. I always take my foundation brush, and then you dab it over the blemish. Next up, I'm gonna set underneath my eyes. I really like this setting powder. This is the Becca Hydra-mist setting powder. It's really sad because pretty soon you're not gonna be able to buy this anymore, although you can usually find these ones in Winners. Another setting powder that I loved under my eyes was, and this one was actually my favorite, it was the Essence Banana Powder, and that one has been discontinued. It's so frustrating to find a good setting powder underneath my eyes because my eyes do get very dry, and it's just frustrating. And then I fall in love with one and then they don't sell it anymore, so that's great. I'm gonna take my beauty blender and I'm just gonna dip it in there, take it on that, and just take it underneath my eyes like this. Every year around the holidays, they usually come out with this holiday palette. And this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Mini Palette. And this palette here is so nice. You get a ambient setting powder, a bronzer, a blush, and a highlight. And their highlights are amazing. For our nose contour, I'm gonna go in with the Natasha Denona Bronze and Glow Mini Palette. I'm just gonna go in with this bronzer here. And I really like this Huda Beauty Face Sculpt and Shade brush. So I take this little side here, and this I use for my nose contour. So let's go in. However, I will take this bronzer in all over my face because it is a nice bronzer. It does have a little bit of a shimmer, so just keep that in mind. All right, so now we've got some bronzer on. I'm going to go in to the blush in this palette. I'm gonna take this one on this Urban Decay diffusing brush. And I like brushes that are kind of slanted. For blush, I just think they apply very nicely. So we're gonna go in here. I think I need more. I want quite a bit of blush. Hourglass highlighters truly are the best. I think the only ones that would come in a close second for me are Ofra highlighters. Those are also just great, but I do think there is something so special about the Hourglass formula. So I'm gonna take this Luxie highlighting brush and I'm gonna take some of that powder and I'm just gonna apply it on my face like this. Now that we've got our complexion done, we're gonna move on to our eyes. And this palette, I just think is such a perfect fall palette, you know? This is the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. And I mean, look at these shades. They are gorgeous. First, I'm gonna prime my eyes. This is the ABH Eye Primer. I'm just gonna take a concealer brush and I'm just going to blend that in to my eye a bit. And then I'm gonna take my beauty blender with a little bit of the setting powder and I'm just gonna really set that down. I think we're gonna go into shade Carnelian. I want to say it's probably some sort of flower. I don't know my flowers. And we're gonna go into this Luxie blending brush here. I love this brush. We're gonna take some on our brush and we're just gonna work it into our crease. And on the other side as well. This is a very, very light shade. Yeah, I didn't go in with enough on this side. Next, we're gonna take shade Jasper. That's more of an orange. We're gonna apply that onto our eyes. With the same brush, I'm just gonna take some of that and really work that into the crease also. Okay, this shade is very pigmented. Just keep that in mind. Okay. I definitely put a lot on there, so I'm gonna take my blending brush and I'm just gonna dab that a little bit. All right, now we're gonna do the other side. And again, this shade, just like I went in heavy-handed, but just be very precise where you want it because it will go all over the lid. I do think that this matte shade is a little bit patchy, which is kind of strange for Natasha Denona formula. Next, we're gonna take shade Citrine here. I'm gonna take this angled shading brush and I'm gonna go into shade Citrine and I'm gonna apply it on the outer edge of my eye here. And so now I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Next, we're going to take shade Azalea. It's kind of like an orangey red shimmer shade. We're gonna take that on our finger. Oh, huh. For some reason I had to go in with that quite a bit to get it to be pigmented. That's strange. And I'm gonna take that just in the center of my lid here on both sides. We're going to take the brush that we used with the yellow and we're going to blend that out a little bit. I'm just going to, the brush I used for my crease, I'm just going to wipe it off a bit and I'm just going to blend the edges a little bit. I don't like that at all. These are not blending very well. Okay, I'm going to just take that shade all over my lid pretty much. And then we're gonna go into shade Agate. And I'm gonna work that into my inner crease here. And we're gonna take that brush that had a little bit of yellow and we're just going to pop that on our lower lash line a little bit. And then we're gonna go into the shade Jasper just a little bit on that as well and buff that out. So far, this isn't my favorite palette from Natasha Denona to work with. It's just not looking the way that I really want it to. So I don't know. To kind of finish off this look, I'm going to apply some mascara and brow gel is what I like to use. I'll use an eyebrow pencil if I'm going somewhere and I want my eyebrows to be a little more, you know, but most of the time I just use a brow gel. I really like this Milk Makeup brow gel here. And then for mascara right now, I've been really liking the Mcgrath Mascara. And I always use an Essence waterproof mascara on my lower lash line. This is the final look. Overall, I do think it's a very fall look. I'm just not sure about the quality of this Natasha Denona palette. I mean, it wasn't bad, it just didn't live up to the expectations that I always set for Natasha Denona palettes. I also applied my Milk Hydro setting spray, and on my lips, in the fall time especially, I love a good liquid lipstick. In Canada, some of the Shoppers beauty boutiques, specifically the boutiques, not Shoppers itself, but the beauty boutiques by Shoppers, some of them now carry Kylie cosmetics. I tried out my first Kylie Lip Kit. This is in shade Candy K, which is like one of the signature shades, and I love it. I love the way that it dries down here. I have some foundation on my finger, but no lipstick at all. I love the way it dries down. The lip liner that it comes with is so creamy and nice, and her lip kits live up to the name. They are really, really great. I think in the future I'm gonna have to buy more of them. Overall though, I do feel very fallish right now. If you liked this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below what your favorite fall activity is. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.